right, what's up everybody? We'll get started here in just a moment. We're back in South Beach. We're gonna be walking all the way down to Ocean Drive tonight. And this may or may not be the last stream we have here in Miami. So I'll keep you guys up to date and we will get started in just a moment. You know what, I'm actually kind of curious about this block right here. This is the Abbey Hotel, beautiful Art Deco building. You're gonna be seeing a lot more of these, but let's kind of walk down here before we start. I like how they decorate the palm trees with the lights. Hey, what's up, Dale? I see DC322. What's going on? Welcome, everybody. Look at these Vespas here. This is by far the best way to get around town. If you're moving to Miami or just visiting, well worth the investment here. Beautiful bikes, by the way. Those two are super solid. Now, guys, I think we have the, what is it? President Joe Biden is going to be speaking at 9 p.m. So I think he's probably speaking now. Is that right? I'll probably watch the replay on that. I'm not too sure if that's going to move markets. I'd be curious to see what futures are going to be reacting, or if there's any reaction to the futures market at all. We'll see. The State of the Union address, that's what it's called. Got it. Yeah, D, we're not going to be able to rewind tonight just because I'm only on mobile. I don't have my computer with me, so I couldn't do any of the settings. But look at how cool these little hotels are. It's one of the things I love about South Beach. You have all of these super small, kind of like luxury hotel, motel type deals in these really cool kind of Art Deco buildings. Really nice. JC says Biden doesn't speak, he reads. Yeah, I mean, look, we'll see what's going to come about it. I'm more interested to see. Yeah, I mean, obviously a big talking point is going to be the unemployment rate, right? He's probably going to talk up the market. I'd be utterly surprised if POTUS doesn't bring up how equity markets are trading at new all-time record highs, that inflation is coming down, we're making some progress there. So it's probably just going to be all the usual stuff. I think it's more for people who aren't really that kind of in tune with what's going on. Hold on one second. I just have to adjust my brightness. Beautiful palm trees here. All right, let's get started. Let's see who we have in the chat. I see Lilla. What's going on? Anna says happy Thursday night. Yeah, happy to be back in Miami. Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. Jesus Christ. Justin Collins, good to see you. I didn't even see those guys in that car. They scared the hell out of me. Ryan Beck, what's going on? Thanks so much for joining us. Gadat says didn't see the news. Is the price of Bitcoin up or down today? I don't know. I actually don't even know where it's trading at. I'd probably guess maybe 65,000, something like that. Probably 65,000. Wow, has that move been just insane? I'm trying not to look at any of my wallets just because, you know, we had this massive move from what? 16,500 all the way now to like 65,000, which is just absolutely ridiculous. So, I mean, sometimes it's best not to look at your account in these type of circumstances, just so you can kind of stay, what's it called? Kind of take your emotions out of it. Because, I mean, if anybody has owned Bitcoin over the last year, I mean, you know, yeah, so it's best just to kind of keep your head on a swivel and, you know, it's good to celebrate the wins, but kind of keep it humble. That's at least what I try to do. Stands 67,000 for the BTC. Kind of crazy. Greg Peters, thanks so much for joining us. Yeah, this is South Beach, everybody. So we're now on the corner of Collins Avenue and 20th Street. We're gonna be checking out a lot of these beautiful Art Deco buildings. This may be the last stream we have in Miami. I may need to go back early tomorrow, I'm not too sure. We'll keep you updated on that. But I enjoyed the trip so far here in Miami. A lot of good things working. This is the Greystone here. Pretty cool. This is where we started the stream last night. That is the Eden Art Gallery, or the Eden Fine Art Gallery. NAV 407, what's going on? JC, yes, it stays humble and stacked. John Sunderland says NVIDIA and SMCI were up after hours, and again today, or up today and then again after hours. You know, if you look at, you know, SMCI specifically, I think that actually had a blow-off style top last week. We'll analyze that next Thursday in the newsletter. Now, that was a really, I would say, climactic move, so to speak. So I don't know. I think the majority of that move in that stock is probably over or baked in. But we'll see. I mean, in bull markets, things can get crazier than you could ever expect, right? In bull markets, stocks tend to surprise to the upside. And in bear markets, stocks tend to surprise to the downside. So you never know. There's always a select few, I should say, companies or stocks in every cycle that surprises and is so crazy. I'm sure everybody remembers in the last cycle, Tesla, right? If you go back, coming right out of the pandemic, it was like every day, every single day, Tesla's up 5%, another 5%, another 5%. And you have these massive blow-off runs. I think that's what NVIDIA is doing. That is the liquid leader in the market. It has all the liquidity, it has all the earnings, and that's where the institutions are at. Sabrina Fair, what's up? Welcome to South Beach. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Ali Star says, evening, Tom. Thanks so much. Real art. Now, you know what's another interesting thing? We do have the State of the Union address tonight. Curious to see what the president is saying. However, a little bit of an anecdotal piece about the housing market. So there was a particular house in my neighborhood, 100-year-old house, like quite literally 100 years old. You know, original 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom Miami home, or excuse me, 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom Miami home in my neighborhood. And I actually, a while back, I went to my neighbor and said, hey, if you're interested in selling this at any time, please let me know. And I gave her my number. Long story short, she sold it to somebody else, never told me. Turns out she sold it to like one of those house flipper companies. They totally gut renovated the place, turned it into a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, actually went in there and toured it. And they just listed it on the market for $695,000. Now, the crazy thing is this, okay? For some context, the neighborhood that I'm talking about, pre-pandemic, okay? The comps in that neighborhood on the high end in 2019 were $300,000. On the high end, like 300, 310, right? A lot of stuff was trading at like 275. You know, now in that neighborhood, you can't get anything decent for less than 500. So it's just insane. And I was talking to my neighbor, I haven't spoken to him in a while, and he was like, if that house sells for you know, 695, he's like, well then mine is definitely worth like 1.1, 1.2. And I'm like, 100%. So it's something that I think I definitely miscalculated this year. In my view, I actually predicted that we'd see some significant softening in the housing market, particularly here in Miami. Now, it doesn't mean that this is going to trade at 695, right? It doesn't mean that just because you throw a price up there doesn't mean it's going to trade there. However, I was looking at some of the recent sales and everything's been going like 550, 575 for simple, modest 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes, all under 1,700 square feet. So, as we kind of tie this in, and I definitely want to know what you guys think, what you're seeing in your neck of the woods, as we tie this into monetary policy, right? Everybody's calling for the Federal Reserve Chairman to cut interest rates. I mean, if we cut rates, and a 30-year fixed, I think right now is about 7%. If we cut the Fed funds rate even to 4%, it's at 5.25% to 5.5% now. I mean, you're just going to have more. It's just going to create a tidal wave of inflation. So I don't know. I mean, are you guys still seeing craziness wherever you're tuning in from? I would like to get a better gauge on the market. Maybe some of you are tuning in from Austin, Texas. I've heard there's significant cooling there. Some of you may be tuning in from, I don't know, Long Island, New York. Kind of what are you kind of seeing in your markets? Are things still absolutely ridiculous? Or have things kind of come in a bit? Honest is wonder how fast it'll sell. I don't know. I think $695 is just a ridiculous kind of wishful price. Basis wages will be going up big time. Maybe. Hernandez is San Antonio, Texas. Michael says, hey, from Corpus Christi. What's going on? Junior says, are you there for business or just for fun? I had a few meetings and I have a place here. So I always like to come back once a month just to kind of check up on things, see how it's going, change out the tenants. But I'd say mainly business. I may have to come back to New York a little bit early, unfortunately, but we'll see if I can get my way out of that one and stay a little bit. And for a Thursday night, there seems to be a lot of people out. Pales is very steady up here in central Canada. Now, I've been seeing a lot of videos on YouTube that the housing market, particularly in and around Toronto, is starting to show some cracks in the housing market. Is that true for any of our Canadian viewers here? What do you think? Stan says my house went way up in the past month, several months, like 25%. Now, here's kind of my take on it, and let me know if you guys agree. When you just buy a house, you actually don't want your values to go up at all, particularly if you're not interested in selling it anytime soon. If anything, you actually kind of want your value to stay the same, if not go down a little bit, because the only thing that's going to add to your life, you're making money on paper, right? But very, very seldom can you access any of that liquidity. The only thing you're going to get is a bigger tax bill. Right? So if anything, many of the people that bought here in South Florida, including myself over the last 4 years, our valuations of our properties are way up, but so are our tax bills. And that's kind of like, the double-edged sword there. Because it's like, you're feeling good because you're like, hey, I could sell my house for, $600,000. But you're also, if you're not going to sell and you're not going to transact, you're just paying nosebleed taxes to the government, which I do not like at all. Sabina Sanchez, what's going on? Thanks so much. Harry Connors is always business, Tom. Taxes, for sure. Mark says, hey, Tom, how are you? Do you think prices will keep going up in Miami? Where in Miami? What neighborhood do you live in? Do you think that South Beach is too overpriced to buy, says Mark. I don't know. what I believe, right, and this is just my guess, I think you're gonna have significant softening in the older condos here. And I believe there was just a piece of legislation that was passed here in the state of Florida allowing developers to demolish older condominiums that are up against special assessments. That's something we talked about last night on the live stream. Because the problem is the following. After the horrible Surfside collapse that happened, let me see if I could zoom out a little bit. Yeah, after the horrible Surfside collapse, there's been new rules and regulations. I mean, which is a good thing. I'm not trying to complain about that. But a lot of people are going to be coming up against very unexpected special assessments, meaning that if you own a condo in an older building, you know, maybe you'll get hit with a $25,000 to $50,000 bill for you to chip in to help bring your condominium complex up to speed, right? Make all the necessary repairs and things like that. So I think that's going to hurt resales in a big way because it's going to scare a lot of people. They don't want to kind of get wrapped up in that nightmare, right, of potentially buying something and then getting hit with one of these monstrous special assessments. So I think that's going to impact the housing market in residential in older buildings. But I think that's going to make way for a lot of new product, and a lot of this new product is selling quite well. However, over time, as this supply comes back on the market from all of these new developments, I think you're going to see a period of overbuilding here, which should kind of put a lid on prices. But look, you never know. The thing that's really driven prices in South Florida is not only the pandemic, but just the business flight. There's a lot of capital flight that left the Northeast, that left California, that came here. And if you are used to making New York City wages, and if you're used to making LA wages, right, or San Francisco wages, well, when you come over to Florida and you could buy a house for $500,000 in a nice neighborhood, you're like, whoa, that's nothing compared to New York City, right? In New York City, $500,000 will get you a studio apartment in Manhattan, right? If you want a really, really nice studio in Manhattan, you know, they could be $750,000 to $1 million for a very, very nice studio. An example would be in 1 Wall Street, which is a Harry Mackalow building. The studios there, I think, start at 1.4. I mean, think about that, 1.4 million for a studio. It's kind of crazy. So I don't know. Assuming people keep moving here and wages go up, like really, really good job opportunities keep popping up here in Florida, you never know. That may push prices higher. Base is 1 bedroom, 460 square foot condo in Toronto, $250,000. Only 1 listing. At that low price with no parking spot. Oh wow, it doesn't even include parking? Well, to me that actually sounds pretty cheap. Because we're actually selling individual condo spaces, like parking spaces, for $175,000 on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. So in some parts of the world, right, Toronto, you can get a studio apartment for $250,000. In Manhattan on the Upper East Side, you can get a parking spot for $175,000. So it's just a very interesting world of real estate. You know, location, location, location. Oh, I wanted to ask, I have a really good friend who's selling her place in Santa Monica. Anybody in the chat from Santa Monica, California? It's this really, really unique Frank Gehry loft. Check it out. If you just Google Santa Monica, California, Frank Gehry loft, my friend's listing will pop up. It's a really, really cool place, just a couple steps away from the water. Anybody familiar with the Santa Monica, California housing market? Because I'm just kind of gauging, number one, if anybody's interested, but number two, kind of how fast that'll sell. Anyway, 3T3 says never buy old condo or homes with HOA. Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's all about preference. For me, like I said, when I bought my place down here, I was actually looking for places in condos, but I opted to go for a home because I wanted land, I wanted to be away from people, and I didn't want, honestly, I didn't want to deal with the HOA. And I kind of saw the writing on the wall with a lot of these, the insurance craziness going on here. So look at how cool this place is. Love the outdoor dining setup. Hey, Wayne McKay. All right, let me try to catch up on some of the comments. Stan says, is the tall residential that is plagued. I don't know. Rocky Rocks. What's up? Someone says, what is the crime like in Miami? I mean, like every single big city, you're gonna have some crime, but when you're in South Beach, when you're in downtown Miami, and when you're in Brickell, it's like night and day from being in New York. Everything's super clean, everything's spotless. I've never seen any incidents here, ever, not once. But mainly a lot of the incidents that I see in the city just so happen to be on the subways. And we really don't have subways here. I mean, we have the Metro Mover, we have Brightline, and we have the Metro Rail. And they're all elevated, which I think makes a big difference, right? Usually, if you're underground and people can kind of hide away and blend in with the crowd, that's usually what attracts a lot of the crime. But here, everything is open, out, and there's big police presence. And they're also very, very tough on crime here. Like, that's one thing I noticed. Like, the police officers down here in South Florida, like, they don't, like, there is no wiggle room, like, at all. I mean, they're nice guys, but they are on the hunt here. Like, that's really the only way I could explain it. It's a very different vibe, right? From me interacting with NYPD officers all the time, and then me interacting with Miami-Dade or North Miami Beach, Bal Harbor, it's like a night and day experience. The way I can describe it, it's like down here, the police officers are like the A-team. It's like you're dealing with Navy SEALs. It's like you're dealing with Delta Force. Everybody's jacked, everybody's ready to go, and they'll pull you over and nitpick you for every little thing. I mean, like, they enforce the law like crazy here. Like, I constantly get pulled over on my bike, my Vespa, for every little thing. In a way, it's a pain in the ass, but in another way, it's like, okay, this is good. They're being proactive. I don't know. That's just from my experience. They're very, particularly Florida State Troopers. Those guys are borderline to go too hard, but all right, we're coming up on 15th Street. We're gonna make a left, and then we're gonna go to Ocean Drive, where we're gonna see probably the biggest concentration of Art Deco buildings in the United States. So we just have to cross here at the light. Hey, Abdullah, what's up? This looks like a nice place here. Basis, you would have to make over $90,000 a year to qualify for a mortgage on the lowest priced listing, 1-bedroom apartment in Toronto. That's insane. Yeah, I mean, we have definitely an affordability crisis, not only in the United States, but in Canada too. I think the only way to solve that is just to build. You know, we just have to keep building inventory, keep putting inventory on the market, satiate a lot of that demand. I love this building here, look at that. All right, let's cross by the Betsy Ross. I love that building. I like how they have the outdoor dining there too. But my main concern over I would say the next decade, which I was doing some research and I actually think this is gonna correct itself. But if you look at the data, the vast majority of first generation millionaires in America, they got to that millionaire status due to the equity in their home, right? But the problem now, herein lies, let's actually go to Espanola Way. We'll take a quick detour. It's probably a lot of people there tonight. But the problem is the following. If it continues to be so unaffordable for the average American to purchase a home, like to get into home ownership, well, then what is that going to mean for the average net worth of the middle class over time, right? It's bound to decline. However, I think one thing that the market is going to self-correct is the millennials are actually set up to be the wealthiest generation in history. And that's mainly because of the wealth transfer that's going to be passed down through inheritance. I was reading this Bloomberg article and it kind of laid out this thesis that, yeah, as of right now, millennials may be complaining that they don't have any money, they can't afford anything, but they're about to inherit just an insane amount of wealth, trillions and trillions of dollars. So it turns out they're actually going to be the wealthiest generation. I think it's getting a little bit harder in terms of an average person on an average salary to have mobility, right? Class mobility in the United States. You really need to, I think there's more opportunities than ever in America, but I'm talking about for the average person who just works a normal job, right? That is what's getting out of reach. Yeah, you have, all the big, cities that have the big salaries in tech, in finance and all that, they're doing really well. But all the other, just regular normal jobs like my parents had, there's no way that they would be able to afford to purchase a home in 2024, right? So I think that's a concern. That's one of my main concerns about the US. But I don't know, what do you guys think? What are you seeing? Adam A says, I thought the boomers were going to spend it all and give them nothing. Huh. I guess everybody has a different preference. Hey, Malcolm says, hey Tom, first time watching you in Miami. This is very cool. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. We don't get to come to Miami as often as we'd like. I actually thought 2024 we were gonna have more time to be in Miami, but you can see all these barricades here. All these barricades, the Miami PD are putting them up for spring break, which I think starts this weekend. We'll probably be back in New York before that. And there's curfew, there's no parking. So all the parking garages in South Beach are gonna be closed on the weekends, just to kind of keep people out. Because over the last 2 years, spring break has gone too crazy here. There's been a lot of, let's just say, nefarious activities going on. All right, so this is Espanola Way, right off of Washington Avenue. This is one of my favorite places in South Beach. You have restaurants, you have bars, you have nightlife, pretty much everything you'd want. You have it here. We'll walk to the end of the block just so I can give you guys a better view of actually what it looks like. So if you want to come here, this is 15th Street and Washington. This is Espanola Way in Washington. So you're gonna have, I mean, just look at all these restaurants. We'll walk the strip here. We did it last night. But there's so many options, it's insane. Havana 1957 is a really good Cuban spot. This looks like a really good taco place too here. All right, let's walk we'll walk the entire strip and then we'll head down to Ocean Drive. And this is 2 days before the official start of the spring break season, I think. This looks like to be a cigar lounge. So you have an indoor-outdoor cigar lounge here with this overhead balcony. And then this looks like an Italian restaurant. See what they have here. We were talking about this yesterday. The prices actually aren't all that bad at all. Everything's like 20 bucks. Triple G says, can anybody comment on Nvidia? Is it all real? Well, look, I mean, the earnings power. There's a lot of talk on Wall Street of the comparison between Nvidia and Cisco. Now, if you want to do some research of what happened to Cisco during the 2000 tech boom, you know, not to say that it's different this time. You should never really say it's different this time. Those are the famous last words on Wall Street. However, look at the earnings power of Nvidia. I mean, the earnings are just sick. I mean, it's a cash cow, the company. And that's what we say, you know, earnings drive price. Liquidity and earnings drive price. You know, oftentimes stocks are cheap for a reason and they're expensive for a reason, right? Hey, Justin, this is Tom. How often do you commute between New York City and Miami? It's a good question. I usually spend about a month in New York and maybe about a week or two in South Florida. But over the next coming year, I want to spend more time here is the goal. Increasingly over time, I want to spend more time in Florida. I just can't do that yet, just because the majority of our business is in New York City. So should we start doing more deals down here, I'll be down here. So if anybody wants to do a deal, let us know. If you are a land broker, we're actually looking to buy land, developable land, where you could develop multifamily, you know, or even single family. So if you have any good deals, let us know. We're always in the market. So Rocky Rock, so Cisco had baloney customers, Nvidia has real customers like Microsoft, Apple, and Google. No, for sure. I definitely agree with that thesis. But look, is that to say that the stock will never go down or have a correction? No. You know, you're already kind of seeing the leaders pull back, which in a way is actually really good. Google's falling apart, Apple's falling apart, cutting back below its 200-day. Now, Google's falling apart for other reasons. I don't want to get too in the weeds tonight, but their AI, Gemini, is allegedly woke. Has anybody used Google's AI product, Gemini? There's been a lot of talk on the town that it's a horrible product, and it is quote unquote woke. That's not from me. That's just reporting the news. And a lot of people are upset. So a lot of people are selling the stock. Triple G says, let's not forget that with Bitcoin, its price rising, NVIDIA provides the chips for mining, etc. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I love all just the environment here. It's such a cool place just to come out and just hang out. It's a nice break from being in the big city all the time in New York. I love this landscaping here. Rocky Rock says, sorry for Tesla, it's doomed. Well, the stock has been an extreme laggard, and we tweeted about this. You could follow us on Twitter or X. I'll never catch on to calling it X. I think it's a horrible name. I love Elon Musk. I think he's a great guy. Horrible name with X. Never gonna catch on. Anyway, yeah, Tesla's been a big laggard in a major way. It's trading below its 200-day. But look, kind of what we've been writing about in the newsletter, what we want to see, and this is textbook bull market action, by the way. The leaders are already up and out, and you want to see a rotation into, I would say, the tier 2 and the tier 3 names. And we wrote about this in the Behind the Street newsletter. Let's just cross here and then we'll head back to Ocean Drive. I love these two palm trees. I don't know what type of palms these are, but these are absolutely gorgeous here. Aren't they? Just the whole vibe of this block is fantastic. But anyway, what you want to see is a rotation out of those mega cap names and a rotation into some of the tier 2, tier 3 names like the Palantirs, the Snowflakes of the world, and also the Russell 2000 and the micro caps, right? And this is something we wrote about in the newsletter. We're going to be sending out our next issue when I'm back in New York on Thursday. Yeah, Michelle K says the palm trees are pretty. I mean, this whole block is just gorgeous. Oh, you know what? This is the place that we were talking about in New York. Guys, this is right on 28th Street and Broadway. Remember we walked past this place? I was telling you guys about it. The liquor-infused ice cream. This place is in New York. Okay, we're gonna head back to Collins Avenue and we're gonna keep crossing over till we see Ocean Drive. at how busy it's getting now. Could you imagine how busy this is going to be on Friday and Saturday? It's going to be insane. All right, let's try to go around this way. Anybody here a big cigar smoker? The cigar smoke is pretty strong on the block. There's two other pretty good Italian restaurants all the way down by the Five Guys over there. They make their pasta right on site. I just forget the name of it. Maybe we'll go over there some other time. All right, we'll give you one more look and then we'll head out. Hey, out and about, what's up? Good to see you. Oh, another thing, so this is gonna be another topic. We're gonna do a whole thematic live, not a thematic live stream, a thematic newsletter. Because a lot of times we talk about the different characteristics that make stocks go up, or the share price of a stock go up. Number one, the liquidity, and number two, the earnings, right? But also the management and the leadership of the company overall. If you kind of do an audit, right? If you do a complete and full audit of some of the best performing stocks of all time, almost every single one had an incredible leader at the helm, right? Almost every single one had some sort of a mega genius, a mega visionary, and you want to bet on those individual people. So it's not necessarily always just betting on the company, right? It's understanding who is in power, who's in leadership, who is the CEO. And oftentimes it's almost a surefire bet that if you put your money behind just an absolute killer CEO, they're going to create shareholder value. So I've compiled the list of some of the best performing stocks of all time and did a little bit of a case study of notable CEOs and how they've created shareholder value. And I think you guys will find it really interesting. So that's one of the reasons, okay, why I have Palantir on the watch list. I don't own the stock, not yet. If it breaks into new highs, I'll be in the market. I will be in the market running that into new highs. These are just unbelievable visionary CEOs. Think about how much shareholder value Tesla has created over the years, right? Elon Musk. Think about Amazon, how much value that's created for shareholders. Jeff Bezos, not anymore. Jeff Bezos is no longer CEO, but I think you kind of understand what I'm talking about. Look at Apple, Steve Jobs, now Tim Cook. I would consider Tim Cook as one of the greatest tech CEOs of all time. Many of you would disagree. That's okay. I would say the same thing about Mark Benioff with Salesforce. So a lot of times, you know, and this is one of the main reasons why I really don't, you know, buy penny stocks, because you really want to put your money behind a good leader that's going to be a good steward for shareholder value. Hey, Hawaii, what's up? Welcome to South Beach. Brad's Brains is holding his seat on the bus. Hey, if once that's in the new highs, I will be getting involved. Santos says, hey Tom, made it to your Miami stream again.
but the cigar smoke the smell has kind of grown on me a little bit. I used to be almost like deathly allergic to it, that and cigarette smoke, but cigar smoke actually doesn't smell too bad. Cigarettes I can't do. Can't be around it, can't do it. All right, this is the Betsy Orb. And we're gonna walk directly down Ocean Drive. And they've totally blocked off all vehicle traffic. Hey, Malcolm says it works in cycles, Tom. If you stay invested, you'll never lose. Generally speaking, that's if you're buying like an index, right? But if you're a risk manager, right, and you're actively managing a portfolio, you can't sit through massive drawdowns like that if you're running client money. I think a really good case in point, look at how gorgeous this is. This is the Betsy Ross. Everybody's just outside dining, having a good time. Stunning here, this is Ocean Drive. But, you know, think about how long it took for the Japanese equity market to get back to new all-time record highs. It took over 34 years, which we've covered. I'm actually very bullish on Japan, by the way. Extremely bullish. I think this is going to be a golden age for Japan. And, you know, a thesis, I'm not sure if you guys saw the newsletter that I sent out, but the reason why my bull thesis is so strong, just a little bit of an anecdote, the industry is trading at brand new all-time record highs, while the vast majority of the population, right, the Japanese populace, has their money in cash and short-term securities. And this is what happens after very prolonged bear markets. You have investor confidence pretty much going to zero in terms of confidence in the stock market. And investor confidence just starts to pick up once price hits brand new all-time record highs and they start to get pulled back into the market. So that, right, the underexposure, not only of institutions, family offices, but also the average individual retail investor in Japan, that underexposure, I think, this is just my opinion, doesn't mean I'm right, that's gonna send this thing, it's gonna be significant fuel for the bull market that I think has already commenced in Japan. But yeah, generally speaking, I agree with your premise. You wanna be in names for long duration, but you also need to be a good steward and understand the companies that you own, right? This has actually been an interesting conversation I was having with a very notable PM on the street. You could actually follow his Twitter account, Jim Osman, really good guy. And what we were saying is, due to passive investing becoming increasingly popular not only in the United States but globally, this has actually allowed companies to kind of get very lackadaisical, because active investing and activist investing has kind of fallen by the wayside, right? And this is kind of what can lead to a lot of corporate bloat situations, you know, a stagnation in innovation. So active management in a way is good, just to kind of keep the market efficient and in tune. I'm not saying everybody needs to trade individual stocks. I actually have the vast majority of my net worth just indexed in retirement accounts that I can't touch until I'm of retirement age. But I think it's really interesting because that's going to create big opportunities for active managers, right? Particularly activist style fund managers. So this is the Marriott Vacation Club Pulse. Bass says, I love the commentary and point of views and respect them, but I don't think someone who hangs around these rich areas understand what is happening in the USA and Canada. Well, let us know. I mean, that's what the stream is for. What is happening in the US and Canada that I may be blind to, that I should know about? Let us know in the chat. Anybody pop in on the State of the Union address? Anything interesting, anything notable we should know about? Hey, Pop says, I've stayed in almost every one of these hotels. And some were still original builds, no remodels. Wow. What was the cleanliness, if you don't mind me asking? Was the experience good? This is one of my favorite buildings, this Winter Haven. Beautiful Art Deco style. John Sunderland says Biden is shouting a lot. Okay. Cynthia Avis is same old stuff. Yeah, I'd expect, you know, in general, the State of the Union address to go something like this. The American economy is very resilient. We have record low unemployment. Inflation has come down from 9.1% to just over 3%, and we expect it to fall even further. Crude oil is down significantly, which is putting a lot of Americans at ease. Prices at the pump are coming down. Things like that, just very basic. And he's probably also gonna say, hey, look at your retirement accounts. S&P 500 is trading at new all-time record highs. Unemployment, very low, things like that. I mean, honestly, to be honest, this is like a layup State of the Union address for President Biden. And I'm not a political guy, I respect everybody, yada, yada, yada. But if he doesn't crush this, I mean, something's really, really wrong. I mean, everything is like perfect. All he has to do is just say those 5 things. Say, stock market's at all-time record highs, inflation's coming down, unemployment at all-time record lows still, and let's carry this momentum into the election. That's something like that. If I was the writer, I would say that. I would write the script for him, kind of exactly like that. I would give it to him, and I would say, then walk off the stage. And you pretty much nailed it. So, look at this. This is the Cardoza Hotel. I love all the different colors too. Look at this place. I just love the view of looking all the way down Ocean Drive. New Jersey coast is how much of that is actually true. Well, I mean, all of it, right? I mean, the S&P is trading at a new all-time record high, right? It's over 5,000. Unemployment's near record lows, and inflation has come down. If you look at CPI, it's come down from 9.1% to, I think our last print was what, 3.1? I'm not saying like who I want to vote for or like my politics. I'm just saying, like, if I was the speechwriter, that's what I would write. I would say, read this, walk off the stage, and you killed it, pal. Boris says nope. Immigration is Biden's Achilles heel. Of course, it's a disaster, but that's why I would just focus and reframe to the good. Again, I'm not saying, because I'm not a Biden guy at all. Actually, the exact opposite. I'm just saying, like, if I was working for him as the speechwriter, you want to reframe that conversation, because it's a sales pitch at the end of the day. The State of the Union address is just one big sales pitch. right? Regardless if there's a Republican or a Democrat in there. So you want to hammer on the good and say the things that are bad, you reframe it and say, oh, we're getting progress here, progress there, boom, boom, boom. All right, this is the Carlisle. I mean, everything looks gorgeous here. Yeah, Carl Roth's Tom, the State of the Union address is always a good speech, never negative. It's the leadership that people question, for sure. And you know, regardless of who's in the White House, I do think in general, you need a very overly optimistic State of the Union address to kind of get people riled up. Because at the end of the day, the President of the United States is the head coach for the US, right? That's kind of how I view that. The President of the United States is the head coach for Team USA. So you kind of got to give a little pep talk, and that's kind of what I would do. Now you can see all these barricades, and you also have a lot of police presence right behind us. You see all of the Miami PD on the four-wheelers or the ATVs here. Wow, look at the Leslie here. Stunning Art Deco architecture. Cynthia Avis says, what's the temperature tonight in Miami? It's pretty mild, it's just a little bit humid. Last night it wasn't as humid as it is now. But I actually really like the humidity, like a lot. I don't know. I feel as if when it's very humid, my skin feels a lot better. Whenever I'm in New York, just my skin gets super dry and it's like really uncomfortable. I'd rather have it very, very high humidity. That's also why I love New York City in the summer, because New York City is very, very humid in the summer. Oh, look at this. This is cool. Trying to decide if Ocean Drive looks better at night or during the day. Well, luckily, I was able to take some standalone video of Ocean Drive, so I have some insane 4K video that I'll upload later. Now, you could see the beach right here. It says it closes at 8 p.m. So the beach is closed from 6 p.m. to 5 a.m. There's no loud music and there's no alcohol allowed on the beach. And that is one of the newest, I don't want to say regular, I would say one of the newest rules of spring break. Because over the last couple of years, it's been way too rowdy. So the city of Miami, I should say Miami Beach, has put in these restrictions to kind of keep a lid on all of the action. Hey, Mark, says Tom, it looks very quiet. What are your thoughts about closing off the parking lots on the weekends to cut down on the crowds? You know, I heard about that too. I was watching the news, and I think what they're doing is on the weekends. All of the parking garages in and around South Beach will be closed. Now, how many people actually like drive into South Beach on the weekends for spring break? I don't know. I think everybody's pretty much already here already. But look, anything they can do to cut down on the crime here, I'm all for it. It's not that we don't want people here for spring break. We do. Obviously, it brings a ton of money. And not only South Beach and Miami in general, but the state of Florida, guys, is very, very heavily reliant on tourism for its economy. I mean, let's be honest, right? So I think we need to walk a fine line here in Miami with not saying we don't want anybody to come here. No. We want everybody to come here and have a good time. We just want people to be responsible. And the problem is, over the last few years, the majority, right, just like in everything in life, the vast majority of people have been great coming here just to have a good time. But a lot of it has been ruined by, you know, gang wars from a lot of people that aren't even from the state of Florida and Miami. You know, there was, I think, 2 murders last year, and which caused pandemonium. So, look, anything they can do to cut down on it, I'm in. Now, they put these floodlights just to make everything a little bit brighter. I mean, you have a police car on pretty much every corner, right? Yeah, someone says snowbirds are the economy too. Yeah. And my vision, right, and the reason why I've invested here in the state of Florida, particularly South Florida, is my vision for not only the state, but for Miami. Or I should say my bet. My directional bet is that over time, Miami becomes very, I should say, increasingly less transient, if that makes sense. Because in years past, just like your comment about the snowbirds, a lot of people come down here during the winter, right, just to escape the brutal, harsh temperatures up in Canada, in the Northeast and the like. And then they kind of go back to where they're from, right? A lot of people are only here, you know, 6 months out of the year. And one of the main reasons why I think that has been like that is because in comparison to the job market and job opportunities in the Northeast, in cities like Boston, in cities like New York, the job opportunities have been much better over there, right? I think we could all agree in terms of both, I would say, mobility in a career trajectory, like getting promoted, and also an earning potential. I think we would all agree. My directional bet, or my directional bias on Miami, is that's going to change, and slowly but surely, not right away. This is 11th Street, real quick. But anyway, my directional bet is that over time, the salaries, the opportunities, and the competition in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach is going to slowly catch up to New York. It's going to take some time. It's on its way. But if you can have New York salaries in South Florida, I mean, it's game on. And that's kind of my bet. And one of the ways they're going to be able to do that is they need more robust public transportation. They're trying to do that with the Bright Line. The Bright Line will actually go all the way to Orlando, Florida now. But still, I think Miami needs to do just a little bit better on investing every dollar into a more robust public transit system. Like, if we could have the Metro Mover be expanded all the way up towards North Miami Beach, Hollywood, and Fort Lauderdale. My vision is if you can make like a Long Island Railroad or a Metro North, but for Miami, like where people can just hop on, hop off, it would be insane down here. I mean, the population would explode even more than it already has. come to South Beach and you live in North Miami, how are you gonna get down there? Just jump on the scooter. I'm down here in 10 minutes. On my Vespa, I can get here in like 15 minutes. You can see more police presence here. I'll try to show you every single Art Deco building on the strip here. Oh, for sure, yeah. Carl Roth's Tom Condo. Explosion is needed with trains. So yeah, the more new product they build, the more transportation. Because I don't think the infrastructure can handle the traffic, in my opinion. I mean, the traffic is already crazy down here. Wow, look at all the police officers on the four-wheelers. Hey Elias, do you like driving? Not really. I like driving the Vespa. Alright, here we are at 10th Street. Now this is really cool right here. This is the Art Deco Welcome Center. So if you want to come here and learn more about all of the Art Deco architecture in the buildings, you could come right in here and you can get guided tours of all of the amazing Art Deco buildings here. You could also come during Art Deco weekend. That's January 12th through the 14th. Look at this. This one's really nice too. The breakwater. Look at this Art Deco building. Let me pull off to the side. Hey, Michael Chin, what's up? This is how I'd ride my stand-up electric scooter from downtown over the Venetian Causeway to South Beach and miss all the car traffic. Only 8 miles each way. Wow. Michael Chin. Also, the views must have been spectacular. And the sunsets coming from downtown Miami to South Beach. That's an awesome ride. I think we're coming up on that CVS where they filmed that movie Scarface, I think. I think my favorite thing though are all these palms. Hey, Q-Biz. What's going on, and welcome to South Beach. The Waldorf Towers Hotel. Speaking of the Waldorf, I believe that's going to be the newest, well, the tallest residential building south of the World Trade Center. The new Waldorf residences, I believe. Am I thinking of the right one, or am I confusing the names? My favorite part of Miami is actually North Beach. Which is right at 72nd Street. There's actually a really nice brand new development that's gone up. 72 Park, I believe it's called. Look at these people hanging out the window. Right here. I wonder how much a hotel costs right on Ocean Drive for the spring break. I like this building too. Wow, everything looks super cool up here. I'm almost kind of just mesmerized by it. Look at everybody in the balconies over there. All right, we'll go down a few more blocks. I don't think anything can beat these palm trees though. And right here is the ocean. Wow, okay, I think this is my favorite building. The Colony Hotel here. Whoa, this thing looks super cool. And I think this right here is where they filmed that movie Scarface, the CVS. Yeah, CPQ trainer says they close the beach at 6 p.m. I think they close it at 8 p.m. And there's no, what's it called? There's no alcohol allowed on the beach. Beacon Hotel looks good too. You know, it's nice to come down here and just kind of walk the block. Just kind of people watch and chill. It's kind of what I'm doing right now. Mark says, Tom, what is my favorite beach? My favorite beach is North Beach, right on 72nd Street. 72nd Street Beach, because it's absolutely gorgeous, it's super clean, and there's virtually zero tourists. So if you go to Collins Avenue, 72nd, I mean, that's where I hang around all the time. Like, that is my spot. Right next to the Chiquito Coffee and Bakery, which is the best coffee in Miami, in my opinion. I think it's called Cachito, something like that. It's on 72nd Street. I also really like the Park Central Hotel here too. Ah, Jose is by the North Beach Bandshell. 100%. You know what? That's exactly where I hang out. I hang out all over there. That's one of my favorite spots. And I was actually going to buy a house right on Normandy shores. I'm sure you're familiar with that. You're never gonna believe this. The place I was looking at, this is way back before the pandemic. It was like $550. You can't get anything on Normandy now for under $1 million. It's a great area. And I saw another comment in the chat that says North Beach is the next neighborhood to be totally redeveloped. 1,000%. North Beach in 10 years is gonna be, you're not even gonna be able to recognize it. There's already an amazing building that just went up. It's called 72 Park. The Eklund Gomes team is leading sales on that. So Frederick from Douglas Elliman is leading sales on that project. And you know, all of those, I should say, very, very old motels that were right on the water there in North Beach, they're all going to be knocked down. They're all going to be demolished, and it's going to be luxury condos. It's going to be brand new retail. I even think there's going to be some office there. I mean, the North Beach is going to be unreal. It's going to be absolutely unreal in a few years. Hey, Western Mass Dave, what's going on? Yeah, we're just having kind of a chill stream. I believe this is my last night in Miami, so we're just checking out some of the Art Deco hotels here. Stance, do you like Fort Lauderdale? Honestly, not really, to be honest, to be quite honest. I like Miami a lot better. I think Fort Lauderdale, you're a little bit too far away from the action. Because even if you live in North Miami or North Miami Beach or Sunny Isles Beach, you're still so close to everything. You know, 15, 20 minutes, you know, you're in South Beach. 25 minutes, you're in downtown Miami and Brickell. So you're always near the action. So not a big fan of Fort Lauderdale, but it is beautiful. Hey, No Mikey says, I didn't know you like Miami. I love Miami. I bought a place here a few years ago. Love the city. Extremely bullish on Miami over the next decade. I like this shot with the two palm trees here. I think if I had to pick two cities that I think are going to prosper the most in the United States over the next 10 years, it's going to be number one, New York City, and number two is going to be Miami. I think both of them are going to absolutely scream over the next decade. Although I'm biased, right, and I have a vested interest in saying that. But I believe it. You know, I put my money where my mouth is. CPQ Trainers is Elliman also just listed. What is it called? Hotel, what was it? Oh, Shore Park Hotel. Wow. Very, very cool. Now, the Amman hotel chain is also opening as you make that transition from Mid Beach to North Beach. So you have so many like flagship. I mean, Amman doesn't move to any old city. I mean, they know where they're going. They need to have the right clientele there. If you remember from our New York City live streams, we always walk past Amman, New York, which is right on the corner of 5th Avenue and 57th Street. New York City's Billionaires Row, right? It's one of the most luxurious and expensive hotels in New York City. So they're not going to open and develop an entire building in Miami if they don't think there's going to be demand for it. Look at this old car here. This is Bentley of South Beach. Speaking of Bentley, you have the Bentley Design Tower in Sunny Isles Beach. You have the Porsche Design Tower as well over there. And then in downtown Miami, you have the brand new Aston Martin residences. And coming very, very soon, they just announced the Mercedes-Benz residences, which is going to be over 700 units. That's absolutely insane. It's going to be in Brickell, and Serhant is going to be leading sales on that. So if you've seen the show $1 Million Listing New York, I'm sure you've heard of Ryan Serhant. Him and his team will be leading sales on that, which I'm really excited about, by the way. When they have their showroom built, we are going to get an exclusive tour of that. So I will we'll be doing some video and streams of that. I work for Kirsten Jordan. So if you've seen the show $1 Million Listing New York, she's the first female broker on the show. That is who I work for. Look at this place. Pizza Days. I don't think we ever walked this far. Oh no, we have. Because if you continue straight down, this will take you over into downtown Miami, all the way down there. This is 5th Street. You could already tell it's a lot quieter here too. I kind of want to walk down a little bit more. Let me check the time. Let's cross and then we'll walk down a teeny bit more. I would take you guys to the beach just to kind of listen to the water, but with the recent crackdown, they are very, very explicit about not going to the ocean at all. Oh, they have a Fridays here. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I actually may get something to eat. Yeah, it is getting late because I started the stream late too. This should be Collins Avenue. This is actually where I need to go. I need to go all the way back up towards the art museum. Love these palms here. Hey, David Sommers, what's up? Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're just checking things out before all the crazy spring break stuff happens. You can see the signs right here. So all of the parking garages are closed Thursday to Sunday. From 7th Street, 13th Street to 16th Street. Interesting. I wonder if the buses are gonna run. We'll see. Sunshine after rain, yes, as you thought Florida was mainly for retirees. You know, it's interesting because, and again, this is kind of the other part of the thesis. Whenever I'm in Brickell specifically, I see almost like more younger style millennials and Gen Z sometimes than I see in New York. This is a pizza place, but I don't know if I would go eat pizza in Florida. I've only had 2 good pizza places in the state of Florida and in Miami. Number 1 being Joe's. I know, you're asking yourself, are you talking about the Joe's from New York City? Yes, I am talking about the Joe's from New York City. They just opened up a place in Wynwood. That place is pretty good. And then there's this other place that I forget the name of, but it's in North Beach. It's kind of right as you go to Normandy Shores. Now, I think Joe's is gonna make a fortune because if you have really good New York style pizza down here, there's a huge market for that. Because all of the pizza I've had down here is not good at all. But then again, I don't come to Miami to have pizza. I'm trying to see if there's a spot where we could cross the street, but they put up all these barricades. But anyway, guys, I think we'll call it a night here because I have to get home. I have to be up very early. But I appreciate all of you coming out to this live stream. It was pretty fun. You know, we're very, very seldom in Miami, so when we're here, it's kind of nice to kind of take a break and enjoy it. So if you enjoyed the stream, feel free to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video if you're new here. And we'll see you guys soon. So Carol H, appreciate you so much. Western Mass Dave, Sabrina Fair, Santi, thank you so much. Dale, Sally, Justin, Western Mass Dave, Steph UF, Zach, Hawaii. See you guys tomorrow. Maybe in New York City. I don't know. I either got to fly out early tomorrow, and I still didn't even book my flight. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Take care.